Now, I'm going to go to Daniel chapter 5 and read this. This was Nebuchadnezzar that God made him ruler, so of the whole earth. But God used symbols to identify the nations which was going to be at the end. Chapter 5. Belshazzar, the king made. Okay, let me see. I'm not going to chapter 5. I got to finish this part out. Daniel chapter 4. All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. 4:28. This is what I got to have because it was a transformation taking place. At the end of the 12 months, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdoms, by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty? While the world was in the king's, while the words was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee, and they shall drive thee from men's. And thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of the heavens, till his hair was grown like eagle feathers, and his nails like claws, like bird claws. Before I go through that, I believe it's in but it's in all throughout the Bible prophecy. In Revelation chapter 17, it tells Mystery Babylon, and I said this for the United States of America. He said the people was going to narrowly look upon them, and also speaks this concerning in Isaiah, where this they went up on the brink of the earth and made a covenant with death and hell, and he said it will end. No, this is in the prophecy about this there. And it said the people will narrowly look upon the United States of America. And so this was going to be a replica of what's happening, because all of these become similar to what we had take place today. In other words, the genetic traits of the father would be passed down from generation to generation, and as they're born. And when they be passed down through the generation and nobody tried to change, then God had to do the same thing, a similar thing that he did to the father, to bring these back in compliance. If he destroyed the father, then he had to destroy the son or the generation to come. This is the way God do things. And at the end of the day, verse 34 of Daniel 4, of the days, I Nebuchadnezzar lifted up my eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me. And I bless the Most High, and I praise and honor him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he does according to his will. And the army of heaven, and some among the inhabitants, and none can stay his hand, or say unto him, What doest thou? At the same time my reasons return unto me, and for glory of my kingdom, my honor and brightness return unto me, and my counsel and my Lord sought unto me. And I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I Nebuchadnezzar praise and extol and honor. And now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are true, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. Chapter 5. Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to thousands of his lords, and drank wine before the thousand. Belshazzar, while he tested the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessel which his father Nebuchadnezzar, okay, this is father and son. This is the son doing this. Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. They that brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wife, and his concubine drank in them. They drank wine and prayed the God of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. And the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlesticks upon the plasters of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw that part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosened, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers and the Chaldees and the soothsayers, and the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all these kings, wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the kingdom the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the word of the king and his lord, came into the banquet house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thought trouble thee, now let the countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy God, and in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king, I say, thy father made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldees, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding interpretation of dreams, and showing of hard sentences and desiring of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spoke and said unto Daniel, Art thou the Daniel, which are of the children of the captives of Judea, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that life and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee.